Oh, right. Oh my god, we just started on me losing the Ville. Did you see that, Beeves?
I did see that, but I was told not to care about that in the game.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. Oh, I never noticed that there's actually hills in the tree lines as well. Not that that's super duper relevant. Or is it? Land wall on Amazon Tunnel. What do people who play Amazon Tunnel love most? Walling. Well, you know what, boys and girls? We're gonna wall before they can wall. Beeves is already over here. He's walling this up. It's an absolute glorious time over here. We have a tryhard civilization Lithuanians who wants to get those relics, but they're not going to get any relics, I'll tell you that much, because we going to be walling them in ying dang ying way out faster than you can say hee ha hee blue bop beep blah 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 blah. How's that for an intro? You're supposed to say it's fantastic. Couldn't have done it better myself.
Oh, sorry, I have a call. So, but whatever you're doing, it sounds great. Perfect.
Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your family. Dishonor 17 generations back. Dishonor on your cow. Stonewall is coming up now. We are fast imping this bad boy with Portuguese. B's going to go for a whole bunch of flaming camels. And then we're just going to hold here indefinitely, forever and a half, and then some. We're also going to take all of those relics when we can, because relics are good. They generate you gold. Actually, I think we calculated that it generated me 15k gold. Oh, gets the conversion. Let's go. Let's go. Running around and then just lose it. Because, yeah, you know, why not? Stone walls coming up. Alligators going down. It's a whole thingamajig. But this is only where the fun starts. Once you're post-Imperial Age with Portuguese. Behold the glory that is walls and bombards. Absolutely fan-flippin'-tastic. Imperial Age reached by our opponents now. Put some gates. We want to definitely have a lot of access points. You can never have too many access points into your Death Ball. Knights from blue, very standard for Lithuanian. We're going to consume absolutely every single resource that is available to us.
All right, I'm back.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started here. The bombard war has just commenced. We're watching this bad boy at 8 times speed. I really like that with a lower player count, the casting is not terrible because the speed is still relatively fast. We're able to do 7.4 times speed, which is a lot faster than no talking from them either. Interesting side note there. Ooh-wee.
That
Popping
takes the
treads.
fun out of it.
Yeah, it takes the fun out of it. You think the fast speed takes the fun out of it?
No, the fast speed's fine. It's the fact that they're not chatting.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that. Would have been great if they would have
Look at
tried.
this. Look
Oh,
at
the
this one.
Mangadite trap with the flaming camels. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was a nice little trapperooski. I, you know, I could watch the fight in the middle forever and a half. Oh, you can see that I'm starting to do the secondary things now as well. I'm chopping all the way to the far left side and the far right side. It's actually quite far to chop, and we're just walling behind walls, behind walls, behind walls. I really can't wait till Blue does this thing where he comes forward with the chop and just gets absolutely. Well, you'll see, you'll see, you'll see. I wonder at what minute he does that too. At what point are they like, oh man, we can't cut the center here The hussar are just lining up to die. It's pretty funny, but it doesn't matter. It allows us to get more walls up. That castle's super
Buying time.
greedy. What was that, Beebs?
I was saying the Hussar is just buying time.
Yeah, I mean they're buying time, right? They're like a literal physical blocker in the choke point there of one tile. How much food do you need? Because it seems like you were actually pretty okay for the most part. I think I slung you a couple K here, a couple K there.
Yeah, I mean, food was always the problem for me. So what I would do is I would make a massive batch after you would send me, and then the next time I needed food, I would buy a massive batch of food. So I was just kind of cycling between buying and getting some from you. So
Yeah, makes sense.
I had 90 farmers at the end. I think right now I probably was only at 50.
We can actually check. You are at 44.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
So
actually quite low on food. 2K.
I was very slow to imp compared to the Michi strat because of sending 2 mills up to wall.
Yeah. Cost you eco-wise, right?
So if we ever did this in a 4v4 setting, I think having somebody else do the initial wall
Yeah, it would be essential.
and somebody else doing the cuts to the side of the map is probably...
Yeah, and then if they could just spam like Halb or any kind of meat shield unit for that time being would be fantastic. And the cuts to the side actually need to be very, very wide because how wide I had them is probably not wide enough. I mean, they're wide-ish, but they're not wide enough in all fairness. These flaming camels are hilarious though. This is what this map was constructed for, right?
Yes.
This is how this
Walls,
map was
bombard
meant to be played.
towers, and camels.
Yeah. This map is so silly, so memey. People really love this map too. I cut here. Oh, they are talking. They are talking. He finally found a need to say something. Oh man, I can't wait. Oh, this is great. I cut here. Is he cutting? He's not cutting yet. He's like, you hold the center. You just hold the center. They're lucky because we're not actually trying to push, right? For the most part. We're just trying to hold and secure our position. Make more bombard towers, make more walls, make more, stuff. Bank up res. Those castles are eating it because of that side chop over there. Oh, he's slow and steady but chopping over here. Oh, that's delightful. He has no idea. I spaced them out so that they covered basically the entire segment of map. And on the other side as well. I probably needed some more on the left side, which I do eventually, but very, very delightful. The right side was a little bit longer, so I decided to add more towers there. Oh,
You're actually adding one.
I'm actually constructing one like right where he is chopping, funnily enough. Well, I think these side ones would have gotten it as well. Let's see which one gets him. All right. I think he
Let's
actually
see their
reaches.
vision.
I think he. Okay, yeah.
Oh, please say something.
Say something. I'm giving up on you. He didn't say anything. He just ran back, tail between the legs. Is this woman gonna make like a little stone wall so that we don't come through? Yeah, it must be, right?
Yeah. Can't believe they didn't say anything.
Yeah, nor did I. I mean, you could have at least said like, "Hey, sorry, dude, didn't work out. over on the right side. It would be hilarious if Green was like, "Hey, what happened to that cut like 10 minutes?" I can't believe he didn't say anything. He was just so embarrassed. He was like, "Nah, let's just forget
they
about this."
they got
Actually,
us.
what is their vision at this point? Okay, so he puts the gate over there. That's a really bad gate because he's gonna over chop that eventually. But look at what they can see. They have no idea the castles and the bombards and the towers that are still behind for the most part. This is probably like the only time I really don't mind Mangadai. Oh, green is like, okay, we're gonna chop to the right now for either more pop up on the front, more production buildings. Oh, bypass the walls. I mean, that onager is definitely going to get popped at a certain point once he goes into that tower. I'll go up for the gate. He chopped all the way around to be able to attack the gate, and then he just got popped anyway.
Eventually, they had a stable back there. That was the
Yeah,
stable
I was gonna say,
chopper.
don't they?
Just wall it in. That would have been such a power move.
Oh, walling
And
is
do it with a palisade. just throw
just,
one.
just a show dominance. Epic game. No response. Oh, he did also put a little stone. Oh, an outpost to keep him safe. He's open over here,
Yeah,
but
he's overjumped.
he put in an outpost. That's what I was saying. That wall was really bad. Oftentimes, a chop can cost you the game in more than one ways on this map, because you're committing a lot of army to go through that chop, and then they can immediately clap back, and you've probably lost the middle because all of your army isn't in the middle where it needs to be. Now you could also just chop with one onager, but if you top with a single onager, you're gonna have a bad time if you run into any towers or castles or...
Yeah, those Mangadai are afraid to really get into the fight.
Yeah, I was just sending cannonballs in
Between
there every once in a while.
between your bombards popping them,
Oh,
Trebs randomly hitting them, and then the fear of flaming camels
did you see
taking
that
them out.
huge flaming camel shot you just had there on them?
Yeah, yeah. I think I had 3 or 4 on the Mangadai this game.
It's just so gold intensive as well. How much is a Mangadai?
Mangadai is like 110 total resources.
Oh,
55 and 65. So that's 120. 55 wood, 65 gold.
wow. 65 gold, that's pretty expensive. It's not like one Mangadai does anything. You need to have like a group of 10 or 15.
Yeah.
So if you get one shot on them...
If you take out 30 Mangadai, it's almost a GG win. Just rebuilds the castle right there.
Yeah, that's so greedy. So greedy. I guess blue isn't really making Latus, so it doesn't really matter. But even still...
Wait, because we took the relics from him.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, he is making Paladin, and a Paladin would have additional attack too.
That's true.
They are pushing from the left side now. That was a little bit annoying, but there's just more and more bombards and towers there as well. I was just thinking... The Lithuanian player here, what do they even go for composition-wise? Like, Hussar doesn't seem to do anything at all. Their Hussar aren't better than your Hussar by any stretch of the imagination, and they're just getting pummeled. That food is getting
Honestly,
flushed so
honestly,
quickly.
help is the last thing that I want to see on a battlefield because my meat shield is Hussar,
Yeah,
and they're going to get Shrek, and I don't want to waste camels on
how?
helps. So in that situation, if they go help, then the Portuguese player going hand cannons is
Yeah.
pretty valuable.
Also, look at the pop
But
here. Just check it out. They're at 340. They can't produce fast enough. We're at 398, 99, and you have suicide units. We are constantly popped. They're not.
yeah, there's only a couple points in the game where I felt like my pop was down too low, and that was like I was back home setting up eco and forgot to queue.
Yeah, the queuing
But
is
other
super
other
duper
than that,
important.
I was just
I
constantly spamming.
Yeah, I had military the entire time. They have a lot more vills though, so they're able to reproduce this army the entire time. But I don't think you're gonna push this ball with 85 military units. I think you need like
Yeah,
150, 200. I think that's an underestimation that people make in these situations. We're banking up resources. You have 11k gold. Uh, the only multiple digit number that they have is wood. And wood is basically useless at this point. Our trade was also really efficient because we actually chopped at this point.
yeah.
Oh, look at that map. I want to know. 74,
And
74 bombard towers. Just
this,
chilling.
when you zoom out, it reminds me of chess and how the battle is over the center. Control the center, you win the game.
It is true. But we controlled the center very early, and that was a lot of resources that we got extra in comparison to them, gold-wise, stone-wise. I definitely think that early palisade was well worth it. 5 relics. That was 15,000 resources, right?
Yeah, that was a massive, massive hit. Even though we were a little slow with the boom, it's like we're still gonna hold, right? Unless they castle dropped and went like full aggression castle age. Maybe
Yeah,
that was our weak point, but
potentially. But if you get a bombard cannon out, which I would get out pretty quickly, right?
yeah,
What's Castle Age going to do unless they full petard with knights or something in that nature in Castle Age? And it has to be pretty coordinated too. Don't let your means. Thank you for the follow, much
Just
appreciated.
dreams.
It was really annoying that they are on a hugely elevated position in comparison to us. That was such
that's
an
saved. That saved them for
such an unfortunate map
extended the game,
gen.
maybe 30 minutes.
We have no elevation here, and then they have this huge hill. That's a terrible map gen, isn't it?
Yeah, like the most critical spots of the game, one team has a massive advantage.
That's a 25%.
But again, goes back to how valuable the space was. Like if our first wall was back near our choke,
Yeah,
it would have been much more difficult to hold.
yeah, for sure. And then it's also a lot
Yeah,
easier for them to just chop around, right?
Yeah. Getting the wall on their choke, I think, is a critical part to success for this. Or at least, I think you can still be successful if it's like midway in the center. But
Midway's probably fine. Gives you a little bit more space.
it was pretty crazy how the game just immediately turned when you got a massive house, though.
Yeah, it was hard getting the helps out, I will say. I was just thinking really hard about what do I go? Do I go Halb here? Because he has Mangadai, but I felt like he didn't have enough Mangadai and he wasn't really able to engage very well with Mangadai. So I figured that Halb would just add a lot to our meat shield grind. versus, say, hand cannoneers, which, I mean, hand
Don't
cannoneers
really
could have
do it.
probably also worked, but much more gold intensive, and I have so much wood left. This is where they went for the big siege push, and we actually decided to go for the help. It also takes a while to set up. I should have probably just teched into both hand cannoneers and help to make sure. I had the required techs. Yeah, now I finally start getting pikemen, shield barding, deleted a Vittoria at this point. It's great just being able to hit the Mangudai with bombard cannons. It's very satisfying.
You had that little nook
Yeah, on the left
with
side,
yeah, when you made that little pocket.
the pocket was nice too. It's all those little things that accumulate, but you can see as they push in, they're just pushing into a concave destruction
Yeah,
ball.
completely surrounded by towers.
Yeah. And even if they push in, it's like, okay, you snipe a couple bombard cannons, but now your entire meat shield is gone, and oh, we're coming back out. Oh, you thought the shreds were cool because you had some Asar over there? Nope. Finally, the first wave of helps starts pouring in.
Yeah, and it's at this point where the game decides.
Well, I need to get a little mass here, but once I do,
Yeah, I think there's one push where you send like 20.
yeah, I think I actually decide to delete a second Vittoria. I mean, I don't know if you can see this, but there's 28 bombard cannons here as well. You know, just intertwined in the mix. They were all kind of on top of each other, not doing very much. So I spread those out a little bit. Him popping is totally fine, because it just allows me to make more help. Now the help's really pumping. We're producing out of 9 barracks plus. Yeah, here this is the point, right? There's 27 helps on the front. We've destroyed all of their siege. They're at 320, 330 pop. They can't produce fast enough at this point. And they don't have the res to really do so either. Except for Blue, who can just infinitely spam Hussar. But Green is low on gold. He's low on food. He actually needs to ask his buddy for food. Yo, you got 10k food. Skirms. I don't know why Blue went skirms.
No, when they went skirm, it was like it's over.
That was such a bad play, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so bad.
He's not even teched fully into skirms, I don't think. Oh, he did. He got all the upgrades and whatnot, but why? For the help? But you have
Yeah,
Hussar still. You still have Hussar there. There's so many more Hussar than there are helps. There's 47 Hussar, and there's
I like
20
this.
something help.
I'm just on the gate so they can't get through,
Yeah.
and I don't care if I lose Hazar. You're gonna lose that castle.
Look at the amount of pummeling they're taking from the bombard cannons too. There's 21 bombard cannons here on the front, just putting in a massive amount of hurt. And the cannons and the towers and the walls. Easy. Easy. Wow. Most created unit from me was bombard cannons. 218 bombard
Yeah,
cannons.
maybe I should calm down about losing them because I'm looking at your wood and gold
Yeah.
and
The
very easy to replace. It's kind of like one of the old Queen's Gambit games that we had where it got to like it was so long in the game where paladins were trash units because food and gold were easy to replace, but wood was the precious commodity. So like
I
they
think
were
in this particular, because
they were
there's so
making
much
spears,
wood,
but yeah,
I think there's so
there's so
much
much
wood
wood and
here.
gold is easy.
I think food becomes a precious commodity, right? Food more so than gold. Actually, I only have
But I think
600 gold. I just spend all my gold on stone, so I don't waste it. Um, Somebody in the comments of one of my YouTube videos said, "Keep buying the stone. It's really, really good." And the reason it's really good to buy the stone is because it makes their castles super expensive. So every castle that you destroy makes it so that they can't replace them. They can't make
yeah.
trebs and stuff like that.
What was the market price at?
Let me check.
I can't see.
398 for some stone, 170 for some food. So it's definitely food and stone that are hot in demand. So think about that. If you,
You start out with less stone in this map than Michi.
oh yeah, for sure. That's what makes the Victorias even more powerful.
Yeah.
So think about that. If you want a castle, that's 400 basically times six and a
Seven.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, you're gonna have to buy it 7 times.
you're gonna have to buy 7 times, but let's just say you had 50 in the bank. Let's give them,
The benefit of the doubt.
yeah,
Okay, so
2,400. And as you buy it, it also gets more expensive. So about 2,500 gold for a castle. That's pretty expensive.
yeah.
That's a lot of mangadai that you can make. Let's take a quick look at the statistics over here. Oh, that KD though. That KD though. You had no buildings lost. 0. About a 5-1 on the KD. That's nuts.
I think it's hilarious that everyone else has a negative KD except you, and yours is just like atrociously good.
Yeah.
That's just nuts.
Well, I mean, I don't really send units, right? I just send bombard cannons.
Yeah.
So every bombard cannon kills 5 basically with the help of towers and stuff like that. Worst economy though in the game. Victorias, they do not generate tons of resources. Both of us actually the least amount of resources collected.
Yeah, I mean they boomed way harder than us, and they were ahead of us, but it was the wall and tower that
Well,
really
also
came
us
for
having
us.
more military numbers here. Let's take a look at the military numbers. Military high 72 and 70 versus their 66 and 47. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge mistake. You need to have way more military numbers if you're trying to push through a wall. That's actually how we lost that one land nomad game on Michi against those guys. Where
The
they just
current player
deleted, yeah,
deleted
they
his
just
build.
deleted like 30 or 40 of their pop, and all of a sudden we're dealing with triple the numbers of military. Well, memes, and dreams. Keep on walking.